Hi class. So today we're going to be going a little bit more in depth with The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. So, as of class, we've already gone through the warm-up and the objective, so you know what we're doing for the day. However, I just wanted to take a moment to further explain and make sure you guys fully understand what a theme is. So a theme it's essentially the main idea in a piece of writing. So it's what the piece of writing focuses on and what it really is attempting to show the people that are reading it. And with that, we are looking at the theme through the idea of Gothic literature. Now, Gothic literature is a subset of a genre, so it's a type of writing. And as it says on here, it's a genre of literature, so it's a type of book that combines fiction, horror, death, and romance. So it combines all of those things to create this really mysterious, kind of spooky feeling around it that the readers are able to understand. So, some common elements that I have gone over with the class previously, but I just want to tell you again to make sure that everyone fully understands it. So common elements of Gothic literature is a gloomy setting, so a dark, mysterious setting. Think like haunted houses on Halloween, how you feel around Halloween with the pumpkins and the ghosts and all the horror. But also supernatural beings, so ghosts, monsters, vampires, zombies, um, so on and so forth, the type of creatures that aren't necessarily present in our daily lives. But also an emphasis on curses or prophecies. So the characters may be under a curse or they may have a prophecy. For example, as with the Raven in Edgar Allan Poe, he provides this sense of prophecy of kind of telling the future for the character in the poem. Also, there are damsels in distress, so women that need saving, or even men that need saving, but somebody who needs to be saved by another character. There's also elements of romance, and very, very intense emotion. So what Gothic literature wants you to do is they want to make sure that you, as the reader, feel what the characters are feeling, whether or not you fully understand what is going on in the poem. There's also a feeling of mystery or suspense where you are not fully sure of what is going on, but you are able to kind of understand that something is about to happen, though you may not know what that something is. So, I just wanted to take a moment and kind of go into a more personalized approach to the analysis that we've done as a class, and also one of the analysis that the groups are doing in class. Okay? So, for the classroom analysis, I've taken the first two parts of the poem. So I'm going to read this to you. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of some one gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, "only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here for evermore. So, in these first two stanzas, what we have, just to make sure that everyone understands what is going on in the poem, is we have our speaker, the I in this part, who is taking a nap in his bedroom, and he hears somebody knocking at his door. So he asks, he's like, what's going on? Why is someone at my door? And he's remembering this because he doesn't think anything of it. But his mind, he's thinking of his lost love, Lenore, who has died. And he's thinking that this may be her because he is missing her so much that all he can think of is this person that is knocking at my door must be Lenore. So, we're just going to take a minute and we're going to go through some of the Gothic elements that are present in these first two stanzas. So, starting with the first line, we have the words "once upon a midnight dreary," which allow us as the audience to understand that it is a gloomy setting, it's dark, it's mysterious, it's not bright sunshine. But that is also continued with the fact that he does not know who's knocking at his door. So he's questioning, who is rapping at my chamber door, which gives support to this aura of mystery surrounding the poem, even from the first stanza. Then there is also the notion of bleak December, where, again, much like Midnight Dreary, Poe is attempting to create this gloomy, dark, almost depressing atmosphere so that the readers understand where the speaker is coming from. And then, as I mentioned before, talking about his lost Lenore, she is both a damsel in distress as well as working on death, as well as being dead, and so giving way to that notion. Sorry about that. And then there's also the ghost upon the floor. Again, supernatural creatures, much like Halloween. Gothic literature is very, very similar to kind of what we see at the holiday time around Halloween. Pumpkins, ghosts, haunted houses, things like that. So now that I've kind of taken you through a brief example, we're going to go into one that's a little bit more into the poem, with what group 1 is actually working on at this moment. So these two stanzas are the third set of 2. So if you look at your copy of the poem, you'll be able to see where this is, and just follow along as I read it out loud, okay? Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wandering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before, but the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore, merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what there is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more. So, if we take what we had said before about what happens in the first poem, in the first set of stanzas that I've pulled out, we take that and we can kind of understand where this one is going. He still does not know who's knocking at his door, and he's trying to figure this out. But it is now moved to his window with window lattice, and he's going around and he's trying to figure out what the sound is, because he keeps thinking that it is his lost love, Lenore, and all he wants to do is discover the mystery and uncover the mystery. He is trying to calm his heart. He's trying to figure out exactly what this is so that he can understand if it is or is not Lenore. Now, I'm going to ask you to take a moment and, based on what I have said before about Gothic literature and the common elements, as well as the examples that I have given you in the first set of stanzas, which you can go back and replay if you need more assistance. Take just a couple of minutes and go through and identify some elements of Gothic literature that you think may be present, or like that you can see in these two stanzas. I'll be walking around the room, so if you have any questions or need help at all, feel free to ask. Just raise your hand and I'll come over to you. And then we'll come back together as a group and we will continue on with the lesson.